I mean, the two things. Sorry, John. The two things that you mentioned, Adam Gilchrist there, and he'd say, if I had a proper wicket keeper, I'd have got 1,000 wickets. But the best thing you said right at the beginning, Shane Warne, nitty gritty.
Go on.
Let me give you the nitty gritty. So you know what commentary box is like? They're not big. He rocks up with Liz Hurley in the commentary box.
Friend of
right?
the show.
Right. So you've got your front desk. So you'd have scorer, statistician, lead commentator, summariser, maybe producer, sat there. 3 chairs at the back for you. When you're not working, you sit there. There's 3 little chairs. He rocks up with Liz. And they sit on these chairs, just cozying up to each other whilst commentary's going on. Like a bit of stroking going on and the odd peck on the cheek. I mean that, if you're talking nitty gritty, I mean, I could go on.
You can.
I think you have to be careful of how nitty gritty, because the Shane Warne stories just go further and further and further. But the Liz Hurley one was incredible, because it was the first time I had really met him, and we were interviewing him about leg spin. And most people don't interview him about leg spin, right? They interview him about being Shane Warne or something like that. And he rocked up in, like, I don't know, a Bentley or a Rolls Royce or something with him and Liz.
Bentley.
Yeah, was it Bentley? Yeah.
Bentley.
He rocked up with a Bentley. He parked it under the Lord's press centre. Right? He just drove all the way up. He wasn't going to walk the 50 metres from the car park. He literally parked, and then she got out, and I was like, what is going to happen here? And then the minute we started talking, you could see he realised, I think it was me and Dan Bredick, both of us leg spinners ourselves, and we wanted every detail of how and his eyes just lit up, and he gave us about, I think he'd agreed to 15 minutes, gave us 45 minutes on leg spin, and at the end we said, you better go, because we could see Liz sort of looking at her watch. Yeah. She clearly had a lunch to go to.
He would, at every time on that story, whichever commentary box we were, in any part of the world, if somebody came and said, I got a young kid here who's bowling leg spin, straight down. Yep. He'd go straight down and give him whatever. Give him
I honestly
whatever.
think that day he would have taken me and Bredick to the nets.
Yeah, he would.
If it wasn't that Liz wanted him to go,
he would.
He was that full on into it, and you realise that, like, that's kind of what he's like. That's how his attention is on anything. Yeah. And when he's obsessed with something, do you remember? You guys might remember this when he was obsessed with the TV show Suits. Do you know the TV show Suits?
No.
It's an American legal show, right? Which wasn't that famous. It only got famous a couple of years ago, but at the time wasn't that famous. But Jon Norman's Twitter account, it was just him tweeting to the actors of Suits over and over and over again, right? Because he was obsessed with it. And once he got obsessed with something, that's what he was like. And he would just, we know that he was like that with women and relationships. We know that he was like that with leg spin.
Poker.
Poker was another one he got into. So whatever it was, he would just get so obsessed. And that's the one thing about him. If you struck up a conversation with him about something that he loved, he could talk to you for 2 hours straight. But if he wasn't interested, he would barely look up from his phone, right? Because he was looking for the next thing that would get his. That's it.
And a bit of beefy, looking for the next thing, Again, I'm on commentary. And he's tapped me on the shoulder. He's full on, game on. I get a tap on the shoulder, turn around. Ed Sheeran stood there. He's brought him in. Ed Sheeran's with his dad. He's brought him in and he stood there. Another time we see Beefy, same sort of thing, Beefy. And there's a commentary box, a tiny little thing. And there's a bloke sat with his knees crossed reading the paper. And, it's my workspace.
Yeah.
And producers at the back. I said, who's that? He said, who's that? I said, who is that here? Eric Clapton. Eric Clapton sat there reading the paper in our commentary box. Beefy's just brought him in. Oh, all right, mate.
You, to take it back to the start, and you said, Bumble, that it was, and Jarrod, you both said it was probably the best thing that could have ever happened to him, not getting the Australian captaincy.
He'd never have that, but...
But what about from an Australian cricket perspective? Just to get a couple of years? What difference do you think he would have brought? I mean,
how would he have been seen by the other 10?
I think there were times it would have been hard for him to be.
There you go.
So I don't know what period he would have come in where it would have been smooth.
Yeah, when would he have come in?
Yeah. So I mean, Gilchrist retires, 2007, 2008? I think Gilchrist would have struggled with him. The thing with Warne is that, and this is really, really nitty-gritty here, Shane Warne captained cricket like an Aussie rules football team. So it's why I think it's one reason that Australian cricket is very different to cricket around the world, is it's much more of a team sport, whereas in other countries it's a bit more 11 individuals who come together sometimes. And he would have done that. Whether he would have been able to get those guys to come around to his theory of doing that would have been very tough. But I remember when he did captain Australia, he was at his absolute best with a young team.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fair.
He
that's
captained
fair.
a young ODI team.
No baggage.
I reckon they won a bunch of one-dayers in a row with him as captain, and it wasn't a good team. Do you know what I mean? You looked at it and you're like, doesn't have any of the stars, but they just rode through and a little bit of a wave. I think if he had stayed till, and I'm not saying him and McGrath had a problem, but if he had stayed till after sort of McGrath, Langer.
No, him and McGrath were good.
Yeah,
They were good with
but,
McGrath.
but I'm saying if McGrath, Langer, Gilchrist had gone and Hayden had moved on, he might have been really, really good with that next generation, and him and Ponting would have worked it out because they're both.
They would. Yeah, they'd have been fine. Yeah. I mean, they love-hate relationship. They were fine.
But I do think he would have needed that. So if he'd stayed on after 2007 or 2008, 2009, whenever that would be, I can't remember when Gilchrist left. But if he stayed on after that period into his late 30s, into his early 40s, which he could have kept bowling, so it wouldn't have been a problem from that point of view. It would have been very interesting to see how that sort of Mitchell Johnson,
yeah, you're right.
Shane Watson, because those guys absolutely idolised him and were disciples of Shane Warne and were attacking cricketers naturally. I think that would have been an interesting period. But I also think by that stage, clearly his body and his appetite for life might have... I mean, let's be honest, he may not have had the greatest diet. So I'm not sure he would have been great for Test cricket all the way through.
Chips.
But that's his period.
Pizza and chips.
Pizza and chips.
That's it. Hot chips.
And also, he just had
chips.
You say he didn't drink. I did drink with him one time. And all he did, all of his drinks, do you remember? It was us.
Yeah.
His drink just had more sugar in it than alcohol.
Right.
It was basically
crazy,
a lollipop with like a drop of alcohol in it.
He'd love that. Yeah, he'd love it.
And I was sitting there, I was watching the bar and I actually got diabetes watching it being made.
It was ridiculous. It was
pink and blue.
It was a made-up drink, wasn't it?
Yeah, he made it with his own drink.
It was bitters. Bitters, a soft drink, and like a quadruple tequila. Oh, no, it was just like, what is that?
You get back to generosity, and he lived Brighton in Melbourne, where Ricky lives as well, over that way. We went and he put a party on, which was gorgeous, in this beautiful house, and what I would say an understated house, not gary in any sort of way, except for a jukebox. There's a jukebox right in the middle of it. You got nice white and clear lines. It was all clear lines, and his mum and dad were there, Keith. And Keith, again, Keith, his dad. I said to him, I said, "Where's the best pub?" He said, "You've got to get down the Standard, get down the Standard pub, Fitzroy." So me and my director, our director, Mark Lynch, who you know, we went there, we had a good afternoon. We had a real good afternoon in the Standard, which is a fabulous pub down Fitzroy. And then a horse came in. This horse came into the pub. And I turned to Lynch and I said, "Did you see that horse turn up there?" He said, "I think it's time we left." And you know the carriages that go around, and so it's a real hot day, it's 40 plus, it's a real hot day, and the guy with the carriage wanted a drink for his horse, so he came in through the doors, and the bar was just in front of the doors, and the barman filled up the sink with water. He brought the horse in, the horse put his head into this sink, he drank all this water, slobbering it all over the place, and he backed it out. I said to Liz, "Do you see a horse just come in?" He said, "I think we better go. We've been here long enough."
You said his house wasn't garish. Were you there before or after the mural?
No, I hadn't seen a mural. Do we know?
You know about the mural?
No.
With it's Warne partying with Mick Jagger, Marilyn Monroe.
No.
I think it's a real shame that Bumble never got on the Warne mural.
No.
Oh, the mural.
You know the mural?
The mural.
Oh, the mural. But you would have been you and Bruce Springsteen in the corner just having a conversation.
Yeah, that would be wonderful, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Jimmy Mascarenas is on the mural.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, big mates.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.